Hello, I'm Paul Dudbridge and I'm a filmmaker from the UK and author of books Shooting Better Movies, The Student Filmmaker's Guide, and also Making Your First Blockbuster. My publisher, Michael Wiese, has asked a few of their authors to contribute their thoughts on a variety of topics, so I thought I would discuss something that I'm dealing with at the moment as a producer, which is the practicalities of getting back to making films during the current climate and issues surrounding COVID-19. Please remember these are just my thoughts with some input from recent articles I've read, and regulations might be different from country to country and even state to state. So what are the big practical implications for being back on a film set? The biggest thing right now is insurance and how we move forward with that, as COVID-19 is excluded as an insurable risk. Camera kit or gear, breakages, public liability, etc. are all still in place, but there's nothing for any delays as a result of COVID. Shorter shoots, like 1 or 2 days, commercial gigs, should be okay, as they don't have to worry too much about delays if the lead cast are off sick. On longer shoots, spanning weeks, however, if a shoot is stopped or delayed as a result of COVID, maybe the director or lead actor is infected, the cost of pushing a shoot on a week or two will have to be covered by production and the financiers, which most shoots simply won't be able to do. If the production is a big studio film or Netflix show, these delays will be able to be underwritten, as they have the resources to do so. I think Jurassic World 3 and a number of Netflix shows have recently started or are looking to shoot very soon, and movies of that size can afford to wait if stars get COVID, but for smaller independent films, the schedule and the budget doesn't allow for that. The studios and streamers need their product and can cover for any delays. If your film or show is independently financed, there is little chance that anything will shoot anytime soon. I've read recently the French government has set up a pot of €50 million as an insurance indemnity for film for UK and US independent filmmakers until our government set up something similar, which I believe a proposal has been put forward for something in the UK. Then we are a little stuck. I think the scheme proposed sees the insurance companies covering about 5 to 10% of any claims, with the government picking up the rest. Budgets have gone up, of course, to reflect any new procedures implemented. On an independent film that I'm co-producing, our budget has increased by at least £100,000 to reflect the slower schedule. We've added an extra 6 shooting days as we'll be moving slower. There will be a COVID testing, most likely every 3 days, and even a dedicated COVID-19 supervisor role. But there are still lots of questions that pop up. Do crews and cast completely self-isolate together? If they do, how do we work with any day players? If cast and crews are isolating in hotels, what about the hotel staff who come in to change the beds each day? Some crews can be replaced, but what about the actors or the director? How does it work with intimate or action-based scenes? With no lift sharing on getting to set, this now means that people have to drive themselves, which obviously puts up travel costs, but then logistically, where do we park all the cars when they arrive on site? So each production has its own hurdles. A period drama, for example, unlike the soaps, can't refer to the virus or have the cast attempt their own hairstyles. Some films might have large crowd scenes, which will either have to be rewritten or production will have to turn to visual effects to try and solve that problem. There are excellent software packages available. There's one called Massive, I think, that dates back to Lord of the Rings trilogy, which sole purpose is to create and replicate people and crowds. Obviously, there's a cost implication here, as the VFX budget will go up, but at least it's an option, and it's very sophisticated. To help guide film and TV productions in the aftermath of COVID, commissions around the world have released documents offering their recommendations for precautions and suggested shooting changes to help fight the spread of the virus when on set and mitigate the risk of interruption or abandonment. In the state of California, before it will issue a shooting permit, for example, officials want to see the producer's COVID-19 plan. On a big production, this might be 500 pages or more. There is a possibility that the cast and crew will also be asked to sign waivers, absolving the production company from any liability if they're infected by the virus. For my shoot, we've had to put together a COVID-19 plan to explain to financiers on how we will now run the set, entrances and exits of locations, allow time for crew to wipe down kit, etc. I'll go through our list now of all our new procedures and changes related to working around COVID. We have a dedicated and trained COVID-19 health and safety supervisor who will be assigned to the production. The UK guidelines suggest productions either hire a separate individual supervisor whose sole responsibility on set is making sure the guidelines are met, or use an existing member of the crew and ask them to perform dual roles. We believe that to maintain the proper protocols at all times on set, a dedicated full-time person would be the best option. That individual will be responsible for ensuring all cast and crew maintain social distancing and ensuring production supplies of gloves, face masks, face guards, hand wash, antibacterial wipes are all in stock and constantly and easily available, and are being used, obviously. The supervisor will also lead daily briefings to the cast and crew to ensure any new and existing health and safety guidelines are being maintained. In addition, a crew member from each department will also be designated the COVID-19 representative for that department, ensuring everyone in their unit follows the instructions given by the official COVID-19 health and safety supervisor. We have also moved some interior scenes from an enclosed existing location to a set built in a studio. This means a larger working space, allowing for 2-meter distancing to be maintained and more room for cast and crew to work. A studio also means a safer airflow around the cast and crew as well. Obviously, this has a cost implication with the studio hire and set builds. Each department will be given extra time during and at the end of the shooting day to clean all of the kit and tools that have been used. From camera technicians, costume supervisors, the lighting technicians to makeup artists and set dressers, each department will be provided with unlimited antibacterial cleaning products and wipes to clean all of their tools, cases and instruments. The makeup department will also introduce a color-coded system for each actor to ensure the same brushes and powder are not used on other actors, which could lead to cross-contamination. They in the costume department will be using gloves, face guards and face masks throughout any period they are in close contact with the talent. We will also have 2 video villages on set. The video village is where the monitors are positioned, so crew members such as the director, script supervisor, makeup and costume supervisors can all watch the shot currently being filmed. In normal circumstances, this can mean a lot of people gathered in close proximity. By having 2 monitors and village areas, we will significantly reduce the congestion and helping to maintain social distancing. Catering on the film will consist of a pre-packaged lunchbox style meal, where each cast and crew member will have a set meal provided. This will include any snacks to be consumed throughout the day too. We will no longer be using the buffet style self-service lunch arrangement. The majority of our shooting days take place at a large manor house on location, so this particular project we'll make sure that the cast and crew have more access to areas away from the main house, and we'll be setting up 2 6 by 12 meter marquees designed to house about 90 people each, where we can partition areas for each department and offer more space for people to maintain good social distance when they are not required on set. Makeup and costume and other departments can then have a designated area away from the main set. We will introduce a strict one-way entrance and exit system so that crews are not crossing in doorways too. So that's some of the new changes we're going to be introducing when I'm next on set. One of the other issues is, of course, testing. Each cast and crew member needs to be tested either daily, every 3 days, or weekly to see if they have COVID-19. And testing obviously takes time. One test might take 10 minutes, which would mean about 6 per hour. That means one person can test 60 people per day. But what if the crew is bigger than 60? Then you need 2 people testing, and will not only cost more, but will also disrupt the shooting day further. One article in the Guardian newspaper that I've recently read discussed this and said that on a big Hollywood shoot you might even have up to 150 crew members or more. So you need to look at least 3 testers. And then as it will take you all day to do that, you would then have to think about testing on day 0, not day 1, as you won't get anything shot otherwise. I was reading recently about the Screen Actors Guild instigating some new procedures based around a zoning system, and here are their requirements. A new zone system A, B and C, which has the actors in Zone A. No one can be allowed to access Zone A or Zone B for the first time unless they have been tested and cleared within the last 24 hours. Zone A personnel should be tested 3 times a week at a minimum. Daily testing if required if intimate contact or extreme exertion is scheduled. All crew will be in masks and personal protective equipment. A closed set means no more visitors by family or friends or even the financiers. And a sort of a smaller 10-hour working day will be implemented, and staggered meals. So to sum up, we have insurance being the big hurdle for most productions, and if you can shoot, you have the new crew roles, new procedures, slower schedule, and the increase in budget to deal with. Not forgetting the small things, like after working together for long periods, cast and crews can become very friendly with each other, and shaking of hands, daily hugs, and social encounters on or off the set all become common in the filmmaking family. Obviously, these are secondary to health and safety concerns, but it would be a shame to have to forego these sort of small personal comforts between cast and crew. Films and shows are beginning to film again, which is good to see. Things slowly getting back to the new normal, but for a lot of us, due to the insurance issue, it might be a little bit longer before we're back on set. I think I'll wrap it up there, but thanks for listening, and let's hope we're all back on set soon enough. In the meantime, can I suggest using the time off to read up on new techniques and approaches in the awesome books that Michael Wiese's titles provide. So thank you for listening, be safe, and hopefully see you on set soon.